good job me at being over half a month late with this video. Alright, so this is going to be the first of a monthly series of videos where I go over talking about my least favorite and favorite albums that I listened to of that month. This video is going to be covering January 2023. I understand that it is mid-February at the time I'm recording this and when I'm publishing it. And I don't care. Also, shout out to T-Pab. Good job, T-Pab. You did it. You overtook Radiohead. All power to you. Why don't we just get right into it? Let's just start with the worst stuff that I heard this month. It's gonna go best to worst. First off, we have Fate by Soviet. Not the biggest fan of this guy's vocals. I don't know. It's acceptable. I don't know. It's just like a lot of post-punk revival. It just sounds too generic and samey to really do anything for me. Next, we have Dreamglow by Sonhos, Tomam, Conta, and Aglow. As a pretty big fan of this new noise pop, lo-fi, shoegaze, wave, and indie music, this was pretty disappointing. I have to say that Aglow's vocals were pretty good on this, but I just cannot stand the super generic screamo vocals of Sonhos. I think that the production was really not done that well overall, as it's super muddy and not that interesting, making nothing really stand out. That may be why I like Aglow's vocals so much more than everything else on the album, because they just stand out so much and feel like they have emotion, where everything else just blends together. I don't know. Amber Mules is a good song. Everything else I don't care about. Next and finally, we have Montgomery Ricky by Ricky Montgomery. Just super bland, boring, sort of soulless. There was a moment on here where I just thought, man, if he was screaming, that would be a lot more impactful. The emotions that he seems to be trying to portray don't seem real because of the lack of emotion in his performance. Just not good. This is what I think of when people are talking about bad indie. Okay, on to the real shit. This is not like a perfect ranking. This is not like, absolute worst of the top 10 to the absolute best of the top 10. This is just kind of like a general in order. First, I want to mention Our Giant Panda Is Not Pregnant by James Martin. This one was a weird one. Overall, I would say that this was enjoyable and very memorable, but it was such an experimental listen that I don't really recommend this to anyone who isn't into experimental music or the Windmill scene. Next, I hope I say this right, in terms of the album title, Winterriese by Jerskin Fendrix. This one was a lot more experimental than I thought it would be. Overall, I would definitely say that it was an interesting listen. If you want to try and get into the much more underground artist base at the Windmill, this is a good place to start, in my opinion, as long as you're open to experimental music. I think that there were also some very good moments of pop being used on the album. Some of the vocals were really good, other times it felt like it was missing something. But overall, I would recommend this if you are into experimental pop music or the Windmill music scene. The best songs off of this one were Manhattan, Onigiri, I hope I'm pronouncing that one right, and Swamp. Next, we have The Glowing Man by Swans. This is my third Swans record, my first since September 2021, and I have to say, I love Swans. Next, we have Cheat Codes by Danger Mouse and Black Thought. This is a damn good album. Probably one of the most solid hip-hop releases that I heard from last year. And it further proves that Black Thought really is one of the best rappers to ever do it. I don't think I've ever heard a bad bar come out of his mouth. Danger Mouse also kills with the production here, and the features all deliver exactly what I would want from him on an album like this. Also, very much enjoyed that MF Doom feature. It's great to see people like Danger Mouse using his old files respectfully. Next, we have the ArchAndroid by Janelle Monae. This one definitely took me by surprise. I did not expect this record to be as fun as it was when I listened to it. I do have to say I didn't listen to this much, but when I did, I thought it was pretty front-loaded, as most of the hype tracks are on the first half. But, I mean, wow, the transitions between each song are so smooth and fantastic. I just really liked this one. Also, Janelle Monae is a queer icon. Next, we have Contemporary Movement by Duster. Yep, I love Duster. I do recommend listening to Stratosphere first, because that one is just more classic than this one is. But if you enjoy Duster to any extent, I recommend this. It's a lot more sonically focused than Stratosphere. I'll say that. Next we have Age of Odds by Sufjan Stevens. I don't think I like this more than Illinois, but it was definitely solid. I Want to Be Well and Impossible Soul are both absolutely fantastic songs. I have to give it for Sufjan for having such a diverse sound across all of his albums that I've listened to, at least. It really is fresh to see him switch it up between each big change of his, even if sometimes I'm not a big fan of those changes. Carrie and Lowell. Next we have Slide by George Clanton. This one was pretty solid. I really like the overall vibe and sound that George Clanton goes on this one. If you just want some nice, chill fun, definitely check this one out. This next one is the one that I'm most excited to talk about, and it's the English Garden Windmill performance and singles. I am incredibly glad to have found out about these guys. Shout out to Lou Smith. I think it's going to be in this corner. That corner? I don't know. Whichever corner it is in. Shout out to Lou Smith for uploading just absolutely great performances of the Windmill. As if he had never uploaded this, I would have never found out about these guys. I have to say that this is hyping this up like all hell, but I pray to God that these guys release more studio work. I was not completely sold on their studio singles at first, but I had these songs on repeat for a while after I first discovered them. The live performance is great, the singles are great, just all around fantastic. Please, please, please check these guys out and support them, because I can see them going a decent mile if they keep up quality like this. Okay, finally we have The Powers That Be by Death Grips. This is probably one of the better Death Grips records that I've heard. I'm a big ex-military fan, after previously finding it overrated. And I'm also someone who thinks that The Money Store is slightly overrated, after previously thinking that it was rated properly. So hearing this is like a breath of fresh air for Death Grips for me. I really love the Bjork samples and MC Ride's more laid-back approach to vocals on the first half of the album. I'm not going to say the first half's title. And I love, absolutely love, the noise rock and digital hardcore of Jenny Death. Anyways, everything else that I listened to that I did not mention in this video that I listened to in January is in the description. Thanks so much for watching.